So basically, to me, media freedom is the privilege, or so to say, the freedoms, the rights for media houses, media personnel to freely look for news and do what they are doing with no interruptions, either political or not political.
Do you think media freedom exists in Zambia?
Yes and no, because as one of the, of course, I can't say poorest countries in Africa, or rather in the world, we have a lot of things to do and we have a lot of work to do to ensure that we respect the freedoms of people. Of course, the media personnel, just like most of the citizens, we usually have, or rather we observe most of our rights being violated, especially when it comes to issues to do with politics. Political parties and players knows what they are doing, because of course they are fighting, they want to win power and so on and so forth, and this fight ends up to affecting other people's professions, especially the people in the media. They can't be allowed to access certain information because they are cited to be from this political space. Meanwhile, it's their work. They just have to gather information and keep the community informed. So the freedom of media, it still has a lot to be done for us to realize the full freedom of our brothers and sisters in the media sector.
All right, thank you very much on that, Mr. Mkani. And then also, how inclusive do you think the mainstream media, which is the radio, newspaper, and TV, is in covering diverse voices, especially the downtrodden, such as rural communities and differently abled? Is the mainstream media giving access to this enough access to these people for them to express their views so that the world can hear?
Yes, and of course there is a lot to be improved on, really, because we are still having issues of language. We have about 72 languages in Zambia, and when we are talking of people living in rural areas, these are people that may not understand English and may only be limited to probably one or two languages that are commonly spoken in their communities. So now, newspapers are usually written in English. I haven't seen much of newspapers written in Nyanja or Bemba or other languages. Usually it's English. Then news, the main news is usually broadcast in English. So how do we expect people from the rural areas to get to understand what they are trying to communicate? So there is a serious gap when it comes to the language barrier. And of course, radio stations cover a good range, but still we still have to work on especially the state-controlled medias, that of course they do the news in other languages, but that is 17 hours, 16 hours while people are still at work. So I think there is need for media houses, especially state-controlled medias, to work on the issues of language.